Hello, sixth graders, my sixth grade innovators. This is Mr. Chamberlain, and if you're hearing this, I'm talking to you from beyond the grave. Just kidding. I'm actually gone out of town, and I have a tutorial for you today for how to start using the Silhouette Studio the right way. We were playing around with it a little bit on Tuesday, but today I wanted to take a little bit of time to show you some of the cool things we can do with it and the first project that we're going to do. So I'm going to open Silhouette Studio just like we did on Tuesday, a couple days ago. You had a chance to mess around with lots of the different um, options on it. But today we're going to open up a design just like we did before. When you open it up, as I told you before, there's so many different buttons that do so many different things. Today we're just going to focus on a few things at a time. I'm going to put in a picture that I've already got pre-made here. It's a good science one. It's a little sign that says, chemistry is like cooking. Just don't lick the spoon, which is kind of making fun of the fact that in chemistry there are lots of chemicals. Anyway, when I look at this little phrase, I see that they did a really good job using different sizes and a bunch of different fonts. It really helps send the message. So what we're going to look at is different ways that you can write things with different fonts and different styles and different designs. So I'm going to get rid of this one, and we're just going to start putting some words in. Um, the A up here, right here, is what we can use for different texts. This is just like if you're using a Word or a Google Doc. And I can use the same text button on the side to start typing in things. So I'm going to click it, and I'm going to just write property of, click off of it, and I'm going to add another one on a separate line, Mr. Chamberlain. I can move it around, as I'm sure you know, and kind of re-center it. I can also do a lot of different things with the fonts. On this side where I had the text style, I can click different ones that I want to use. I can underline it. It's already bolded, but I can do different things with it to mess with the font. What made that science one really nice was that I could take it and I could make it any different font that I might like. So I've got this here. I can take the edges and I can blow it up. I can also shrink it way down small. But what I end up with is a little sign that says property of Mr. Chamberlain. This is the first thing that we're going to do in Silhouette for us, is make a sticker from our vinyl cutters that can be used as a property sticker that you could put on your notebook, or you could put on your door at home, or somewhere else where it's okay to stick something. Now that I've got everything here, I can highlight it all by clicking and dragging. As you probably could have guessed, you could move the whole thing, but maybe I put it a little bit off to the side. I can use my centering tool. So it's the little bars here. It's a little bar, smaller bar, and a bigger bar, and that aligns it. There's a bunch of different ways I can line it. One way that doesn't really work is to center it. When I do that, if you look very carefully, I put everything right in the middle. If I put it on the left, that might look weird too, but putting it in the center gets everything the way that I want it. Now that I've got it all highlighted and centered, I can take individual ones like this, and I can move it, and I can make sure that one is centered too. That one looks like it got nice and centered. So I can get it right in the middle if I want. All right. Now that I've made something that I like that says property of Mr. Chamberlain, I want to add some kind of banner or a couple things to it that make it a little more exciting. If I go over here on the left, I've got a little rectangle maker that will make a little banner that I can put around both parts of my name. So I'm going to do the property of one I'm going to work with, so I want it to be about the same size. I click and drag it. The next thing I want to do is I want to manipulate this little rectangle, so I have a button that is for editing points right here. So when I click it and go to edit points, now anything I work with, if I take a corner, maybe I want to grab this one. Once I grab it, it says corner. I can take it and I can kind of stretch it into a shape that I like, that might fit around the property of, to give it kind of a nice little bannered look. let's say I'm doing this though and I accidentally click something or I mess it up and get it over there by accident. You can always undo anything by going to Edit, Undo, and it'll always move it back, which is really slick. So now that I've kind of made it about the size I want, when I click on it again or just click back to the main select arrow, I can now take this whole thing and grab it. I can grab the whole thing and then I can put it on here. So now that I've made a little custom banner on this side, now I can make a custom banner on the other side. So again, I want it to use the rectangle. I want it to be about that big. I want to edit my points. So I'm going to use this rectangle. And when I go to edit points, I can see that I can work with anything here. So again, corner or smooth tends to be really good. I can get something up here. I can get something here. Every time I click on a little spot, I can manipulate it a little bit. So maybe I want to click around here, add little spots on the sides. And as soon as I'm done, I can go back to my main select. Now I've got this cool little banner here that I can move by clicking and dragging. Notice how when I put it on there, it doesn't quite fit, but that's okay, because just like before, we can edit things to make it a little bit bigger. I can move it around. So now I've got something that looks a little bit neater. Okay, so I have my little banners, but I want to add something else to it to make it look a little more unique. So we're going to add a few little wingdings, little symbols to really spice up the little sign that we've made. So if I go up to the texts that I want to use, these are a bunch that you've probably seen before, but if I want to search for ones, wingdings are kind of fun. They're little symbols instead of normal pictures, and webdings as well. So if I go to wingdings 2 and I want to type in some words, remember back to typing the text, I will get every letter of the alphabet that I type in gives me something different. So if I type in A, I get that weird little curvy A-ish type shape. A B is there. And let me just stick with A and B for a second, because that's actually a cool little design that I might want. Now that I'm done with it and I clicked off of it, I can make that really big or really small, and then I can kind of place it somewhere. Maybe I want to make the Chamberlain part especially cool looking like that. And maybe I want to add a completely different one for the other one. So maybe I could pick, I just did G and H this time. So that one makes something completely different. So when I click away from it, now I have something that's a lot more stylish, cool looking. Okay, so I've got a cool little design here that I like the way it looks. You might have noticed I just changed the color on here. We can fill in all the letters and all the words with any colors we want. So if I take this big, giant little wingding piece that I put in here and I click on it, when I double click on it, it has the ability for me to highlight it. If I want to change the color, I've got a paint bucket right up here. So if I click on the paint bucket, I've got different colors that I can use. I particularly like green and blue, so a greenish blue. If I click on that, might look nice. When I click away, now I've got the colors. I can even take my my words and I can fill them in. I could even make each of the words a different color too, with my little color bucket, and so on. Okay, so I've taken a little bit of time to add some nice little symbols and stuff to this, and we've got our first little design that we were able to make. Remember, I can still click and drag the entire thing and bring it around. Now, as you've been going along, you've been doing this. I'm not exactly sure how much time there's going to be left in class, but I'd like to give you a little bit of a challenge. What I did here was I found a quote that I really liked that says, "Throw kindness around like confetti," which I think is a really nice way to think about life. I'm putting this here, and I'd like you to make your goal to try to get, using everything we've used text styles, we've used centering through the alignment, we've used the color bucket, we've used text on the side, And then we've even done a little bit of editing points on here. What I'd like you to do is, I'm going to keep this right here for the end of the video for you to pause. I'd like you, if you can, to try to get something that looks exactly like this on your Silhouette Studio page. You might have to use all the different things that we tried, or maybe just a few of them, but try your best to get a message that looks like this with the same font, in the same positions, and in the same styles. I'm going to give you until the end of class to try to do that. And I'm not sure if you're able to save. I was just talking with Mr. Lundberg and Mr. Flaherty. You may not be able to save, but you can show your substitute this if you think you get close. Otherwise, this was just a practice for the day, and it's going to be just fine. So try it. And I really look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday. Keep up the great work.